Hola, bienvenidos a TutoTIC. En este mes de octubre iniciamos la recta final de nuestras Máster Class y por eso estamos aquí contigo para que refuerces tus conocimientos en lenguaje y mejores tus habilidades tanto en inglés como en español. Así pues, bienvenidos a todos a este espacio creados desde el Gobierno Nacional para ti. Iniciamos con nuestro Máster Class del día de hoy. Damos la bienvenida a Brian Steven Vallejo.
Hey guys, good morning. How are you today? Welcome back to these English Master Classes. My name is Brian Vallejo. It's a pleasure for me to be here once again with you. As we listened in the video, we start the month of October, all right? We are going to get into the end of this magnificent project, which is TutoTIC. So in October, we will have 4 classes, and today we will have the first 2 lessons, okay? In today's lesson, we are going to learn a specific vocabulary about means of transportation, right? You may know many of them or some of them, but we are going to remember or reinforce this vocabulary through this lesson, all right? As you know, our class has 3 parts, okay? In the first part, we are going to explore that vocabulary about means of transportation. We are going to practice or learn by the first time the correct pronunciation of these words or means of transportation, and we will have some practical activities. That's going to be our first part of the class, to explore that vocabulary about means of transportation. In the second moment of the class, we are going to create or elaborate 3 categories, all right? 3 categories in which we are going to divide the means of transportation according to the way how they move, all right? For example, some means of transportation move through the air, right? Other means of transportation move through land, all right? And other means of transportation move through the water, right? So we have those 3 categories: air, land, and water. And we are going to learn other means of transportation through these categories, all right? And in the third moment of the class, we are going to put in context what we learned today about means of transportation, and we are going to ask you a question. The idea is that you answer this question according to your real life, how you move to specific places. And we will have some interactive activities through these moments of the lesson. So, welcome to all of you. I want you write on the chat your name, the school you belong to, and also the place where you are. Let us know in the chat, because in some minutes we are going to read all your comments. The teacher Catherine, who is the teacher that is going to be with us in the chat, she's going to be reading your comments. So please let us know your name, the place where you are, and also the school, and we will read you in a second. Entonces, le damos una súper bienvenida a todas las personas que nos acompañan. Gracias por apartar este espacio. Sabemos que están en esta semana de receso, semana de vacaciones, pero yo los felicito porque ustedes, aunque están en un tiempo de receso y de descanso, apartan un espacio para seguir aprendiendo, para seguir fortaleciendo sus habilidades lingüísticas en inglés, así que eso está muy bien. Escríbanos desde dónde nos está viendo, a qué colegio pertenece y cuál es su nombre, y la profesora Caterine, que está en el chat, nos va a leer entonces sus comentarios en un momento, ¿sí? Entonces, como les mencionaba, tenemos nuestra clase del día de hoy dividida en 3 momentos. El primer momento será para conocer ese vocabulario relacionado a los medios de transporte. Yo sé que ustedes ya se saben algunos de ellos, sin embargo los vamos a practicar nuevamente. También sé que se van a aprender algunos de ellos que tal vez nunca los habían visto antes, y que será la oportunidad para que amplíen su vocabulario en específico sobre esta temática, ¿sí? En un segundo momento, entonces, como les mencionaba, vamos a dividir los medios de transporte por categorías. La categoría número 1 es los medios de transporte que se mueven en el aire, ¿cierto? Que se movilizan o se desplazan a través del aire, ¿sí? Otros que se desplazan en tierra. Y otra categoría de los medios de transporte que se desplazan a través del agua, ¿cierto? O en el agua. Esas son entonces las tres categorías que vamos a aprender y que será nuestro segundo momento. Y finalmente vamos a poner en contexto lo que aprendimos y vamos a hacer unas preguntas de cómo nos movilizamos a ciertos lugares y por qué medio lo hacemos, ¿sí? Entonces vamos a darle la bienvenida a la profesora Caterine. Ella está acompañándonos el día de hoy en el chat y va a leer todos los comentarios que tenemos hasta el momento, sus nombres, desde dónde nos acompañan y incluso también si desde qué colegio están vinculados. Teacher Catherine, good morning. How are you today? And let me welcome you to this English Master Class.
Thank you, Brian, for inviting me to this master class. I'm very happy to be here with you guys, reading your comments, reading your questions. And I just want to say welcome, you guys, to this English master class. Remember that today's topic is transportation. Yeah, a very important and interesting topic for you all, because who doesn't use a means of transportation? Everybody does, right? So I'm going to start reading the comments of the different students that we got today. And I'm going to start with Alison. Alison Murillo, she's saying, hello, teacher. She's just reading. Maria Ruth Largo, hello, teacher. Oh, but she's Valentina Acevedo. So she's saying, I'm Valentina Acevedo. Viviana Alvarez, she is Maria Paz. She's saying, hello, teacher. She's also connected to this master class at this time in the morning. We also got Luz Marina, so she says hello, teacher. Jonathan, oh Jesus, from another country. So he's saying me llamo Jonathan, and I'm from Autol La Rioja, España. So we got another person from a different country, Spain. Welcome, Jonathan, to this master class. We also got Laura Cardenas. She's saying good morning. Consuelo Marin, hello teacher, good morning. And we also got here Sonia Torres. She's connected from Manizales, another region of Colombia. So we also got people from different regions in Colombia. And Consuelo is also connected from Manizales. We also got Camila Gallego and Olga Marin, that they're saying hello to you. So they're saying hello, teacher. They're going to be very active in the chat, and they are just waiting for you to start the class. So welcome you guys to this master class. And we also got another one, like a short paragraph. So I want to read it before you start. And she's Allison. She says, I study in the ITD. My name is Allison Murillo, and I'm in the beautiful I'm visiting my grandmother now. So she's visiting her grandmother, but she's connected. So very nice, Allison. Thank you for being here. And Emily and Natalia Jaramillo, they are saying hello, teacher. Okay, so welcome you guys to this English master class.
All right, thank you very much, Teacher Catherine, for reading all the comments, and very good, guys, for connecting. Although you are in a week off, right? But however, you separated the time, and that's great. So, let's start our class. Sin más preámbulos, entonces vamos a dar inicio a nuestra temática del día de hoy. Les voy a compartir en pantalla una presentación, ¿ok? Esta presentación entonces nos va a permitir conocer ese vocabulario con el cual vamos a trabajar a lo largo de la clase. So, as you know, we are going to learn about means of transportation, all right? I told you that you may know some of them. However, we are going to review them, and we are going to remember the pronunciation, and why not, you are going to learn it for the first time. So, let's begin. We have the first means of transportation, which is very common, right? Many people have this means of transportation. I think it's one of the most popular means of transportation, which is the car, right? Most of you move through the city by car, right? So this is our first means of transportation, the car, all right? No problem with this one. This is another very, very popular means of transportation in our city. This is the bus. Look at the way how we write it, but also the way how we pronounce this word. It's similar to Spanish, but the pronunciation is a little bit different. Bus. So the letter U changes like an A, right? Bus. Bus. This is very popular and many people use it. All right? So we have the car and we have the bus. No problem with that one. Look at this one. This is the train. All right? Although it is not popular in Colombia, in other countries it is, right? Indeed, it is very popular. For example, United States, in Europe, people use the train very much. In Asia, countries like those have the train as a very important means of transportation. This is the train. Sometimes when the train goes underground, the name changes, but it's pretty much the same. We call it subway. Subway. Cuando el tren va a través de la tierra, o llamamos bajo tierra, ¿cierto? Underground, cambia, no lo llamamos tren, algunos lo llaman entonces en inglés subway, ¿sí? Subway or train. They are synonyms. Just that the train goes on the land, but the subway goes under the ground, all right? Very good. So we have the train. That's good. Look at this one. This is a van, all right? Van. It's a kind of bus. It's similar to a bus, but it's smaller, right? And it's also a means of transportation. Van, all right? Van. For example, sport players goes through vans sometimes, or small trips. When people have small trips, use vans as a means of transportation, all right? Van. Let's see another one. This is also a means of transportation, which is the truck. The truck. In American English, the name is truck. However, in British English, the word truck is changed by lorry. Okay? Lorry in British English. American English, truck. That's another means of transportation, all right? It is not very used to transport people, but to transport other elements, right? Like food or different materials, all right? This is the truck. Look at this one. This means of transportation is the airplane, all right? The airplane. Sometimes it's called just plane. That's also possible. Plane or airplane, all right? That's another means of transportation, and it is very, very popular around the world. When you want to move from one country to another, you use a plane. Or sometimes when the country is very big or large, people move from one city to city by airplane. All right? So remember the pronunciation, airplane. Aunque se escribe air, ¿cierto? Recordemos que la A y la I se convierten en una E. Airplane. Yo no digo air, but air. Airplane. Or just plane. Okay? This is another means of transportation. This is another means of transportation. It is not as popular as the airplane for regular people, for commercial use, but it is also used as a means of transportation. This is the helicopter. Helicopter. Miren que la H suena como si fuese una J. Helicopter. Helicopter. That's another means of transportation. It is used by people for rescuers, for example, or people from the government, or very important people, or people who move from one place to another very fast among the days. So that's a way of means of transportation people can use, all right? This, it's another means of transportation. It is very used for tourists, and it is not popular in Colombia, but is very popular in other countries, like Turkey, for example. People use this mean as transportation, right? Or just as a way to have different trips and explore the land, all right? This means of transportation is called hot air balloon. Hot air balloon. Okay? Hot air balloon. Okay? This is not popular in Colombia, but in other countries it is. All right? Very good. Look at this one. This is another means of transportation, and people who live in the coastal areas of different places use the boat as a means of transportation, right? We know that there are different sizes. Some are small, other medium, and there are very big boats, right? And depending on the site, we can have a specific amount of people traveling through them. So this means of transportation is the boat. All right. Look at this one. Pretty similar to the previous one, but in a bigger size. The name of this means of transportation is the ship. Ship. All right. Ship. Look at this one. Would you like to travel on a ship like this? I'm pretty sure you will, right? That's great. Look at this one. So this is another means of transportation. Ship. All right? This is a ship. This one is another means of transportation. It's pretty popular in many countries. For example, here in Colombia, I think this is one of the most used means of transportation. This is the motorcycle or motorbike. Motorbike, all right? Motorcycle or motorbike. I think it's missing the R. Motorcycle. This one is very popular in Colombia. Many people move through motorcycles in our country. All right? That's another means of transportation. Si usted desea tomar nota para que no olvide este vocabulario, pues lo puede hacer, ya que ahorita vamos a hacer un ejercicio donde vamos a recordar cuáles fueron estos que vimos. This one is another means of transportation. This is very friendly with the environment, right? This means of transportation doesn't contaminate or doesn't pollute, right? This is the bike or this is the bicycle. This means of transportation, remember, is very friendly with the natural environment. It doesn't contaminate, right? This is the bicycle. That's another means of transportation. It's not very popular. Most of the people use it to do exercise, but other people use it as a means of transportation to move from their houses to their jobs. That's another one. ¿Ok? Esos son entonces los medios de transporte que yo les traje el día de hoy. Podrían haber otros más. Si usted considera que de pronto se nos escapó mencionar alguno muy común, lo puede agregar allí en el chat y ya lo vamos a leer. Entonces, con esta imagen, para que lo recuerde nuevamente, vamos a ver entonces nuestra primera cápsula y ahorita vamos a hacer un ejercicio donde vamos a recordar cuáles fueron esos medios de transporte. Así que muy atentos a nuestra primera cápsula. All right, very good. So these are the means of transportation. Let's remember what were they, okay? Let's see, for example, this one. En esta oportunidad, entonces, necesito que allí la profe en el chat me escriba quiénes son esas personas que primero recuerdan cuáles fueron esos medios de transporte que vimos. Entonces, aquí hay unas carticas que están tapando uno de los medios de transporte. Yo voy a ir destapando algunas de ellas y si usted identifica cuál es ese medio de transporte y recuerda su nombre en inglés, entonces le invito a que en el chat lo escriba rápidamente. ¿Listo? Por aquí entonces voy destapando la primera carta. Por acá voy destapando la siguiente. Y si usted ya sabe cuál es, entonces lo invito a que escriba the name of that means of transportation, all right? Do you have any answer on the chat, Teacher Catherine?
Oh, yes, we already have some answers. And let me tell you that the first person to write the means of transportation in the chat was Sergio Zapata. Yeah. So he said car. Is that correct?
Yes, that's the car. Very good. Do you remember? Yes, this one, the car. Very easy, right? Let's see another one. Let's see another example. That was the car. Excellent to those who are participating. Very good. Do you know the name of this means of transportation? Look at it. Look at it. I don't know if with these three cards are removed, you can identify the name.
There is a person here that says train, but I'm not sure.
It is. That's correct.
Oh,
This means
Jesus.
of transportation
Maybe he's
is
cheating because that's too difficult to guess.
exactly
Sergio
the train.
Zapata again, train.
Very good, Sergio, and those who are participating, Javier, Jonathan, very good, Valentina, that's great, fantastic. Let's see another one. Look at this one. What is the name of this means of transportation? Any idea? Oh, this is very easy. Look at it. I think somebody get it, and I just removed just 2 cards. That's great.
Yeah. So I got 2 comments now. First, Sergio with helicopter. I think that is misspelled, so that is not correct. And we got another person, Javier Alejandro. So he was the first one with helicopter.
Exactly, that's true. That's the helicopter. Very good memory. Let's see another one. What's the name of this means of transportation? Do you remember it? It will appear in the screen in a second. Look at it. That's the other one we explored. Do you remember the name of this? I just removed 3 cards. Any idea?
So we got different comments. First, we got Sergio with Cruz. Then Luces with car. Luz Marina helicopter. Jonathan says ship. Matias helicopter. I don't know, like Jimena cruise. Emily ship. Is that a ship or a cruise?
I think, yes, it can be a cruise because of the size, right? And because also it is used for tourists, all right, to spend a vacation time. But yes, of course, in general, it's a ship. But if we want to specify what's the use of the ship, yes, it's a cruise, right? But we can call it ship because that was the first word we learned today about this means of transport.
Yeah, Teacher Brian, before you continue, yeah? It's just that just some minutes before there was a question in the chat by Luz Marina, yeah? Luz Marina Marin asked what was the difference between ship and cruise. So if you
All right,
can
it can be,
clarify that.
okay, it can be the size, first of all, right? Because the ship can be a regular or a small size, but a cruise so big, right? It can have a lot of people in it, and it is used as a touristic attraction, right? Because you know that is for people to spend a period of vacation. So that can be the difference, the use and the size. Any idea with this? What means of transportation is this?
We already got many comments. So the first one was Emily Sofia Gallego. So she says it is a bus. Okay. We also got Jonathan, Maria Ruth, Allison. They said the same thing, but the first one was Emily Sofia Gallego.
Okay, very good, guys. Excellent. That was the bus. Perfect. Very good job. Vamos entonces a pasar a nuestro segundo momento de la clase. Como les decía, vamos a dividir estos medios de transporte por categorías. Entonces tenemos 3 categorías, ¿cierto? Les decía, la primera categoría va a ser esos medios de transporte que se movilizan por el aire. Esa va a ser nuestra primera categoría. La segunda son esos medios de transporte que se movilizan en tierra, ¿sí? Y la última categoría, aquellos que se movilizan por medio del agua. Esas serían entonces nuestras tres categorías y vamos a desarrollar este ejercicio. Aquí les vuelvo a compartir nuevamente pantalla y vamos a ver entonces este primer ejercicio. Como les decía, entonces tenemos those means of transportation who move through the air, those who move on land, and those who move on the water, okay? So look at this. In the pictures, you may see new vocabulary about means of transportation. However, you have the picture so you can identify what it is. And we have the three categories on the screen. In air, on land, on water. Okay? So, for example, si usted sabe algunos como a través de qué medios se movilizan, los invito a que en el chat nos lo escriban y la profe tan pronto me los mencione, entonces yo los voy a ir colocando en las categorías que me dicen. Recuerden escribirlos en inglés, al igual que la categoría in air, on land, on water. Let's start with the first one. I want to start with the ship. Okay? Remember the ship? It's a means of transportation that moves on the water, right? As it moves on the water, I'm going to place it in the category on water, okay? Si usted identifica otro medio de transporte y su categoría, entonces lo invito a que lo escriba también en el chat, all right?
Teacher Brian, we already got some ideas here in the chat, okay? Do you want me to read them?
Yes, please, and the name of the person.
Okay. So first we have Javier Alejandro. So he said bus on land.
Perfect. The bus moves on the land. That's true.
We also got another one from Jonathan. So he says helicopter, airplane, aircraft, and cable car by air.
Okay, that's fantastic. All of them in one comment. Yes, the airplane moves in the air as well as the aircraft. Look at the aircraft. It's another plane but in a smaller size. Aircraft. Also, the helicopter. That's true. The helicopter moves in the air. And finally, the cable car. We have in Pereira cable cars, right? It moves in the air through cables, of course, but still in the air. Thank you, Jonathan. Very good comment.
All right. We also got Alison Murillo, and she says taxi on land.
The taxi on land. That's true. The taxi, it's a car, and the car moves on land.
We got another one from Alison, and she says canoe on water.
Canoe, very good. On the water, of course. It's similar to a boat, but the size changes a little bit. It's narrower and longer, but yes, it also moves on the water. Very good, Alison.
Javier Alejandro also says that yacht on air. But I think that is incorrect, right?
Exactly, that's not true. Look at the picture. What's under the yacht? We have water. So remember that the yacht moves on the water. Okay, it's similar to a ship. It moves on the water. Very good. No problem with that one.
Okay, and we got another one from Alison. She says boat, it's on water.
That's correct. Very good. The boat moves on the water. Sure it does.
Emily Sofia Gallego says that motorcycle moves on land.
That's correct. Motorcycle moves on land, of course. That's totally true.
And we got different comments here. For example, bike, on land, train, on land, And Camilo Cruz says boat on water, train on land. Those are the
Exactly.
comments that we got so far.
That's true. Very good. Remember that train or subway are like synonyms. Just the way uh, they move through can make a little difference. Remember that the train is on the land, but sometimes the subway it's under the ground. Okay, that's just a pretty difference between them. Very good. So let's check if they are correct. Of course they are. Look at it. Very good. Those were the three categories we created to divide the means of transportation according to the way how they move. Very good, guys. Now we are going to see our second cápsula. Los invito a que muy atentos estemos allí escuchando o leyendo la siguiente cápsula. Ay, voy a estornudar. All right, guys, very good. Atentos allá a las cápsulas que les damos una información bien relevante sobre las diferencias entre el inglés americano y el inglés británico. Sí, algunas veces un elemento, una palabra cambia de acuerdo a estas dos variaciones, pero entonces usted ya las identifica y cuando las vea sabe que se refieren al mismo elemento, ¿ok? Vamos a hacer entonces un ejercicio más. Aquí les comparto un ejercicio de respuesta múltiple, multiple choice questions, ¿ok? Entonces, los que están aquí muy atentos, los invito a que nos escriban cuál de estas puede ser la respuesta y la primera personita o las primeras dos personas leeremos cuál fue su respuesta y su nombre y continuaremos entonces con las siguientes. Tenemos aquí 7 preguntas. La primera es bastante sencilla para iniciar y luego vamos a preguntar de a qué categoría pertenece cierto medio de transporte y esperamos que lo respondan acertadamente. Entonces por acá tenemos en el chat, it is a means of transportation. Who was the first 2 or 3 students by answering this question, teacher?
Okay, teacher Brian. So let me tell you that the first students to answer were Maria Ruth Largo, that I don't remember the name, but she was another one. She says,
Valentina, I think.
Valentina. She says C. Javier Alejandro C. And Jonathan C. Those were the first 3 students, but we also got some others, right?
Perfect. Let's continue with number 2. It is a means of air transport. Air. Do you remember that category? Air. No land, no water, but air. What is it?
Okay, we already got some comments. And the first one was Allison. Allison says B. B is the correct answer for Allison. We also got Lisette Sofia Garcia, B, Javier Alejandro, B, and some others. I don't know if you want me to read those names or just the first 3.
Just the first 3. Yes. Para las siguientes respuestas vamos a responder A, B o C más el nombre de ese medio de transporte. ¿Listo? Para las siguientes. Por ejemplo, si esta fuera la siguiente, ustedes van a responder B, airplane. Okay? But yes, that's true. A means of transportation which moves through the air is the airplane. That's correct. Very good, guys. Let's continue with the third question. It is a means of land transport. It is a means of land transport. A, B, or C. Okay, these are some options you have. Please choose the one you the one you consider is correct.
Okay, the first one was Jimena Gallo. She says A, but Javier Alejandro, Jonathan, and Valentina, they wrote the complete answer. A, motorcycle, they said.
Excellent.
Motorbike. Motorcycle is the same thing.
Very good. Motorbike or motorcycle. Perfect. Very good. That's the correct answer. The motorcycle is a land means of transportation. Okay, that's perfect. Number 4, it's a means of water transport. It's a means of water transport or transportation. A, B, or C? What do you think is the answer here? Remember to write the name of the means of transportation and not only the letter.
Well, I think that they don't know the name of that means of transportation because they just wrote the letter C.
All right. This is
Just
a submarine.
Valentina said it's a boat, but not really. Oh, well, we already got another answer by Javier. He said C, and this is a submarine.
Yes, very good. Esa palabra no la habíamos visto, es una palabra nueva, un medio de transporte que no exploramos, pero muy bien a los que la identificaron rápidamente. Miremos allí en el chat los chicos que la escribieron. Vamos a aprendernos esta palabra. This means of transportation is the submarine, right? Submarine. Submarine. Very good. That's great. B was a carriage, a horse carriage, and A was a bicycle. All right. Perfect to those who answered correctly. Very good, guys. Perfect. So the submarine, it's a means of water, means of transportation. That's very correct, right? Number 5. Pilas que la número 5 tiene una cascarita. It is not a means of land transport. It is not a means of land transport. Vamos a ver cómo les va. Atentos.
Okay, they already answered. We got a variation of answers here. And the first one is B, luces, but he says helicopter. That is not actually a helicopter.
Ok, aquí debemos aprendernos una palabra nueva. ¿Cómo se llama ese medio de transporte que está en la opción B? Se los voy a escribir en el chat para que lo tengan presente. The name is rocket, all right?
We got a student who wrote it correctly, yeah? And it was
Yes.
Javier. He says
Very.
B, rocket.
Exactly. That's correct. The rocket is not a means of land transportation, right? It moves through the air, right? In the space, in the outer space. But the option A and C, they are means of land transportation. We have the bus and we have the horse, all right? Very good. So the correct answer is B. The rocket is a means of land transportation. Vamos con las dos últimas. Atentos que esta también es negativa. It is not a means of water transport. It is not a means of water transport. Look at this one. A, B, or C. Les voy a escribir en el chat cómo se llama el medio de transporte de la opción C, que no la vimos, ¿sí? Sin embargo, es muy fácil de identificar. Do we have any answer on the chat, teacher?
Yes, we already have some answers. And the first one is Javier. He says A, taxi. We also got Lisette Garcia, A, taxi. And Jonathan says, oh, well, that was a previous one. Emily says A, taxi.
Very good. That's correct. The means of transportation, which is not a water transport, it's A, the taxi. Of course, the others are means of transportation, the ship and the sail. Excellent. Number 7, tenemos otra negativa. This is not a means of air transportation. All right? This is not a means of air transportation or transport. Options A, B, and C. Do you remember the names of these means of transportation? We will check it in a second. Do we have any answer, teacher?
Yes, we already have some answers. And the first one is Allison says A, but she didn't mention the name of the transport. And Jonathan says A, but he says lunch. I think he's a little bit confused with this one, but Javier says A, but.
All right, it can be, yes, it can be a boat or it can be a yacht, right? No problem with that one, but of course it's a water means of transportation. Option B was the cable car, and option C was the hot air balloon, all right? Of course, that's correct. The mean that is not a means of air transportation is the boat. Let's call it boat, no problem with that one. Very good, guys. That's correct. Fantastic. Very good job. Entonces, miren que allí aprendimos también eh, algunos otros medios de transporte diferentes a los que habíamos socializado, ¿cierto? Entonces, ¿qué logramos con esto? Ampliar ese vocabulario. La idea, chicos, es que no lo olviden. Cada vez que vean medios de transporte en su diario vivir, mencionarlos si los vemos en la televisión, en una película o simplemente cuando salimos a la calle, estar recordando y llamando a esos medios de transporte por su nombre en inglés. Puede ser una estrategia que les ayudará a recordar o al menos a no olvidar los que aprendieron el día de hoy, ¿cierto? Vamos entonces a continuar con nuestro siguiente momento, que ya es nuestro último momento de la clase. En esta actividad yo les voy a hacer una pregunta y la idea es que ustedes la respondan a través del chat. Vamos a poner en contexto entonces el vocabulario que aprendimos, ¿sí? La profe Kate entonces va a estar leyendo en el chat esos comentarios, ¿sí? Entonces voy a compartirles nuevamente la presentación inicial y la idea entonces, chicos, es que vayamos respondiendo esta pregunta. Esta es la pregunta número 1, se las comparto aquí en pantalla para que la veamos. Tenemos la pregunta, how do you go to school by? How do you go to school by? That's the question. Y también les comparto la manera de cómo contestar la pregunta. ¿Sí? How do you go to school by? O how do you get to school by? ¿Sí? La idea es que pongamos en práctica este vocabulario que aprendimos y que lo usemos con oraciones de la vida real. ¿Sí? How do you go to school by? The question is, what means of transportation do you use to go to the school? Right? What means of transportation do you use to go to the school? It's the same that I'm asking you, how do you go to school by? Do you have any comment or answer on the chat, teacher?
Yeah, teacher Brian. I think there is like a common mistake in all the answers, but I think it's because of the way you wrote the model. Yes, because it says I go to buy. It was missing the school. So I
Right.
go to school, and that's
Yes.
why they all wrote the same mistake.
Oh, sorry. My bad. Yes, I go to school by. Exactly. It was missing the word school. Sorry for that, guys. I go to school by. So you can correct or you can rewrite the answer on the chat. Very good. Thank you, teacher.
Okay, no problem. We already got some answers with the correct structure, and it is from Camilo Cruz. So Camilo goes to school by motorcycle. Yeah,
All right, perfect.
that's the mean of transportation he uses. And we got another one. Jonathan, he says, I go to school by bus. Jimena, I go to school by car. Valentina Acevedo, I go to school by car. Javier says, I go to school by bus. Allison, I go to school by car.
Mhm.
Lisette Sofia, I go to school by car. And we also got Jeremy. He says, I go to school by car. And Emily, I go to school by car.
Okay, look at that. You see, you are using the vocabulary in a real scenario of your lives, and it is how you move from your house to a specific place. Antes de continuar con las siguientes preguntas, entonces los invito a que veamos nuestra tercera cápsula. Muy atentos. Ok, perfect, fantastic. Ahora vamos a cambiar, ya no le voy a preguntar a usted cómo va a un lugar, sino le voy a preguntar por un miembro de su familia y cómo se moviliza a su lugar de trabajo. Entonces, atentos aquí. How does your father, I'm going to ask you with your father, how does your father go to work? Why, right? That's the question. Look at the question on the screen. That's the second question. How does your father go to work by? Okay. Y acá simplemente cambiamos la respuesta. Muy sencillo. Cambiamos sujetos, que es lo más importante. ¿Cómo respondo? My father goes to work by, and you finish the answer by writing the means of transportation, okay? As soon as we got the first answer, I invite the teacher to read those comments. How does your father go to work by? My father goes to work by. What means of transportation does your father use to move from his house to the place where he works?
Okay, well, teacher, we already got the first answers. And the first one is by Camilo Cruz. He says, my father goes to work by car. Jimena Gallo says, my father goes to his work by motorcycle.
All right.
Valentina Acevedo says, my father goes to work by car. Jeremy Alvarez says, my father goes to work by car. And we also got another one here by Jonathan. So Jonathan says, my father goes to work by van. Yes,
Yes,
so
that's
that's
fantastic.
yeah.
Yes. All right. You see, Jonathan used another means of transportation, which is not very common in Colombia, to move people from their houses to their jobs. But for example, this means of transportation, and it is the van. The van is very used, for example, in Spain. Some companies have the van as a way to move their employees from their houses to their jobs. The van. That's very good. That's very interesting, right? Some cultural facts here in the class. Very good, guys. I'm going to ask you another question. How do you go from Colombia to the USA? Why? How do you go from Colombia to USA by? Vamos a ver qué nos pueden responder acá. ¿Cómo podríamos responder? Muy sencillo. I go from Colombia to USA by, and we will see what your answers are in a moment. How do you go from Colombia to United States by? Any idea? I go from Colombia to United States by.
Okay, we already got the first answer by Jimena. And she says, I go from Colombia to USA by airplane.
Definitely, right? Definitely. We move from Colombia to United States by airplane. That's true. There can be another way. Well, we don't know, and it can be very difficult, and it will take a lot of days, right? And even months. I don't know. if we move through another means of transportation. In this case, the most comfortable and used means of transportation from move to Colombia to the United States is the airplane, all right? The airplane. And also to move from Colombia to different countries, we use the airplane. That's fantastic. Very good, guys.
Look at
Let's
this
begin.
one, teacher.
Oh, yes, go ahead.
We got this one from Valentina Acevedo, and she says, I go from Colombia to USA by helicopter.
Wow. Yes, I think it's totally, well, I don't know. Yes, it can be. Well, that depends on the gasoline tank of the helicopter. If it has the amount necessary to move from Colombia to United States by helicopter and the gasoline doesn't run off, it can be. If it is not the amount necessary, I think it's not possible. Well, but I'm not an expert on that topic. But yes, it is also an air means of transportation, so I think it can be possible. Very good. That's another comment from our students. Fantastic. En estos 5 minutos, entonces vamos a cerrar nuestra clase. Lo invito a que nuevamente ponga a prueba su capacidad de memoria. Vamos a recordar rápidamente cuáles fueron esos medios de transporte que aprendimos el día de hoy y entonces vamos a finalizar de esa manera nuestra clase del día de hoy. So, as you can see on the screen, we have the means of transportation that we explore, we practice and learn through the beginning and the middle of the class. And the idea in this moment is that we finish up, that we wrap up with by mentioning the name of this means of transportation. All right. So let's remember. What's the name of this means of transportation? Vamos a iniciar con la parte superior de izquierda a derecha y finalmente la parte inferior también de izquierda a derecha. All right? What's the name of this means of transportation? Do you remember?
Yeah, we already got the first comments. I mean, a lot of them. They said boat.
Exactly. Very good. That's the boat. Let me see if I can write here. Boat. Perfect. Let's continue with the second. What is the second means of transportation?
Emily says bus.
That's true. This is the bus. Remember, the pronunciation is not bus, but bus. What's the name of the third means of transportation?
Jimena already answered, and she says bike.
Exactly. It can be the bike or bicycle. Okay, we have two possibilities. What's the name of the fourth means of transportation?
We also got some comments from Jimena, Javier, Jonathan. They said car.
Correct. It is a car. And what's the name of the fifth means of transportation?
Okay, they are just commenting from the previous one. Nobody has written the answer for this one. Okay, Jonathan says it's a truck.
Correct. It is a truck, or in British, lorry. We have two possibilities. Vamos con la parte inferior de izquierda a derecha. What is the name of the first means of transportation?
Jonathan says train, then Javier, train.
Exactly, train. No voy a escribir subway porque en la imagen vemos que el tren está sobre tierra y no bajo tierra. Entonces, en este caso, train. What's the name of the second means of transportation? Do you remember? It is it is a water means of transportation.
We already got the answer by Jonathan. He says ship.
True. Yes, correct. Vamos con el siguiente. Number 3, or the picture 3, or the third picture. What's the name of this means of transportation?
Jonathan, wow, he's very active and fast. He says motorcycle.
Motorcycle, very good, that's correct. Very good, Jonathan, from Spain. Vamos con los últimos dos. What's the name of this means of transportation? It is an air means of transportation.
Javier this time was first, and he says it's a helicopter.
Perfect. Y vamos con el último. Do you remember this means of transportation? Atentos, helicopter con I latina, all right? No con Y. Helicopter.
Emily was the first one. She says it's an airplane.
Very good. Perfect. That's fantastic. So here we have the means of transportation that we learned today. Guys, please don't forget this vocabulary. It's very useful because you can use it in your daily life. This is the end of our class. Thank you very much for helping us. Thank you for writing all your comments. Thank you for connecting and being here with us. Teacher Catherine, thank you very much for reading all the comments. And guys, thank you very much for being here. I wish you an excellent day, and I'll see you in some minutes in the next class, okay? Don't disconnect, please. Thank you and have a good day.